What is up guys, it's Jordan here and welcome back to a brand new video. Today we're going to be talking about Rainbow Six Siege and Season 4. We're going to be doing a speculation video as well as some confirmed facts and maybe just a few ideas that I think would be quite cool to add into Season 4. I do these kinds of videos every now and again where they're not really about me just talking, they're more about starting a discussion with you guys. So make sure to drop in the comments what you think we're going to see in Season 4 as well as things that you would like to see. So it's just really interesting to see what everybody else thinks about it just before it comes out, and it's kind of, interesting to get a bit of a discussion going. So basically this is an everything Season 4 video, so we're going to kick it off with confirmed facts. So there really aren't too many confirmed facts at this time because they always keep it pretty quiet until right up to the launch day. However, the biggest one we do know is that it's going to be coming out in November at some time. Didn't specify when, just said November, and the source of this is actually from the official Rainbow Six Siege Twitter. Someone tweeted them asking for a release date and they said that it'll be coming out in November. So the second confirmed point is that it's going to be a Japanese themed DLC. You may have already seen this floating around the internet because they actually released some promotional art for this ages ago, probably like back around Operation Dustline time. So that's been heavily promoted for quite a while, so that's going to be really interesting because we haven't had anything close to a Japanese DLC. So that leads me on to the third one, which is, as always, there will be a new map and 2 new operators. That's confirmed always. It's also been confirmed that the characters will be both male and female again. It hasn't been confirmed which way around it will be, but if it follows the tradition of Siege, then it will be the male character for the attacker and the female for the defender. And this has been confirmed through some in-game voiced acting, I guess, found that had the 2 characters with some lines saying a potential hint to the name or an area of the new map, which I believe was Hangar Bay. So that is again another hint that we could be seeing a map either called Hangar Bay, or most likely that will be an area featured in the map that does come out. But we're going to talk a little bit more about this later on, especially the operators. We're going to get more into the speculation with that, but for now obviously it's confirmed that we'll have a new map and 2 new operators. So now we're going to get into the speculation side of this video because there's really not a lot of confirmed facts at the moment. So the first thing I want to talk about is a proper sniper character. This is something that has been talked about since the beginning of Siege because Glaz really isn't a sniper. He's a guy who has a rifle that's slightly long range compared to the rest of the guns in the game, but it's actually still pretty bad because it's not one shot, one kill. Sometimes it's not even one shot and a down. We're talking about like a proper sniper with an actual sniper rifle that when it hits, it kills all wounds. So this is something, like I said, that people have wanted for ages, and the Japanese DLC just, it seems appropriate for it to have some form of sniper character, especially looking at the cover work or the artwork that's been released. To me, it just looks like we're definitely going to have a sniper character, and this has been floating around Reddit for a while now where people have been speculating that we will see a sniper. It makes perfect sense because everyone's been begging for the buff of Glaz for a while now, and it still hasn't happened. So maybe, they don't want to buff him up too much because if they buff him to the point where he's practically a sniper, it's going to make the new characters not seem quite as unique and awesome. So that's pretty good evidence that we're hopefully going to see a sniper. Now personally, I really hope we do because I love playing long range characters, but in Siege there's just not a lot of point. Even though it is a CQC game, there are still plenty of areas in the maps for a sniper to take position, but we just don't really have that because Glaz just isn't that viable at the moment. The second one is speculation slash confirmed. Basically this means that it's almost definitely going to happen, but I'm not going to put it in the confirmed section because it hasn't been confirmed. But that is obviously new Japanese themed cosmetics. I'm hoping we can see some more unique headgear because a lot of the headgear is, some of it's quite cool, but a lot of it is fairly basic. But I'm thinking maybe we could see some really cool stuff, maybe like some almost ghillie suit type things, something a bit more camo-ish or anything like that, especially some different masked stuff, because I know if you look at the artwork yet again, you'll see the character has a mask on, so perhaps we can see some more cool things like that. But definitely some really interesting Japanese themed cosmetics because we definitely need some new stuff, to be honest. I'm not a massive fan of the headgear we have available at the moment. Now this is obviously personal, so I'm not saying it's bad, I'm just saying that I think we could do with some more variety. But while we're on the topic of confirmed slash speculation, I'm hoping we'll also be seeing some new weapon attachments and equipment. It was really cool in the last reinforcement patch where they introduced some new attachments and some new gadgets and things like that. That was really cool to see some actual new equipment added in a patch. I thought that was a really cool idea, so hopefully in the next DLC we'll see the same thing where we get some new attachments introduced because the introduction of the muzzle brake has completely changed up the game, and that's just super cool to have that in a patch. So I'm really hoping that they've noticed that people liked that, and we'll see that again in the Japanese DLC. The next point is something that's been speculated for a while, and I've even made a video on this topic as well, so that is a new game mode. Now if you want to go into a lot of detail about this, I highly recommend you go and check out my game mode ideas video because I go a lot more in depth. But basically, if you've been following Reddit and Siege, you'll know that people have been asking for a new game mode for a long time, and it was even stated at the very beginning of Siege that basically there will be new game modes introduced as well as maps and operators. Now we've definitely had maps and we've definitely had operators, but we've never had a new game mode. So I mean, if they're still following that promotional thing that they released, I'll see if I can attach it, then we're almost guaranteed to have a new game mode introduced now, because this is the last DLC before the next year, and this picture that they released was the 2016 year planner of Siege, so that would indicate that we'll be getting a new game mode in 2016, and like I said, because this is the last DLC, we should definitely get one. But they might have strayed away from that a little bit. They might be, just happy with the game modes they've got, but hopefully we'll get a new game mode, because that would be super awesome, because that's something we have not seen in Siege at all since it came out. So this leads me on to my final speculation point, which is completely speculation. There's nothing here to tease this could actually be a thing. It's just my idea, and I'm thinking maybe we could get a few more characters than 2 to celebrate it being the last DLC of Siege for 2016. I think it'd be quite cool to have 4 new characters instead of 2, just to really mark that this is the final DLC of quite a successful year for this game. It's done really well, so I think it'd be nice if they went a little bit all out to say on this DLC, as opposed to the other ones. Instead of just having 2 characters and 1 map like they always have, to maybe have 4 characters and 1 or 2 maps. It is quite a lot of work, but like I said, it's quite a special time because it is the final DLC of a very successful year for a really good game. So it'd be quite cool if we had an entire new faction with 2 characters on each side, just like the classic characters do. Like I said, that is completely speculation, but it's just something that I really hope will happen, because I want this DLC to stand out from the rest, because it's the final one and it would just be super cool to have a lot more content to play around with for the rest of the year. Anyway guys, that's all for this video. This was purely speculation with a few facts thrown in at the beginning, so the idea was just to start a bit of a discussion about what you guys want to see in Season 4. So like I said at the beginning of the video, definitely drop in the comments things that you want to see or anything you think will happen in Season 4. It's really interesting to read your comments and just see what everybody else thinks about Rainbow Six Siege and its final DLC for 2016. Anyway guys, if you did enjoy this video, then please make sure to smack that like button. I've got a few more Siege videos coming out throughout the week, as well as my Gears of War 4 videos that I've been making lately, so I hope you guys are enjoying those. I also want to say a massive thank you for all the support on my Carmine Gears of War 4 video. That's hit 8,000 views in about 5 days. That's absolutely crazy for me. It's gone to the most watched video on my channel so quickly, and it's now completely smashed my other video, which is my guide to winning ranked games on Siege. So a massive thank you for that. And with that being said, I hope you guys all have an amazing week, and I'll see you in the next one.